Hi, this should have been the video of me videotaping James looking at the bats flying overhead. Which happened was we did it, but I had forgotten to turn off on my phone. So we missed out. But we'll do it tonight, so don't worry, you'll get to see him. He's having a nap now. He just had his lunch, so he's relaxing. And he's got, wait, let's see. Oh, don't want to scare you. Come here. Where's your little full belly? See? Full belly. Full belly. All full. So we'll answer some more questions. Um, Somebody asked about when I mentioned about the membrane falling off once it gets cold. It would be just like frostbite. If a human got frostbite on their fingers, because that's what your wing is. It's membrane. So it'd be just the same as if a human got frostbite on their hand and they get frostbite on their wing. Same thing. Only it dries up and it just comes right off and it doesn't go back. Only time it does heal, like membrane is absolutely amazing, is if you have a blood supply. So say they get caught in netting, they get caught in barbed wire, and they have this huge massive hole that looks like they're never going to fly again. If it is in blood supply area of the veins, if you rub it and as long as it's kept clean, and it will heal. It will heal, and they'll have a scar. But if it heal, properly, then they're good to go. Care more about the females when it comes to that aspect. Sorry, not men. Males will get away with a little bit more because they don't have to carry a baby. So if the female has like a scar that's going to be harder for her to fly, then she'd have to be euthanized. But if it's that she will be able to carry a baby, then she's good to go. Also, someone said something about, wouldn't it be nice if I could let them out, James out over my balcony and let him go live in that tree? Ooh, no, no, no. Because for one, he needs to be around other bats. He was supposed to get a brother. That kind of fell through. So he will be probably getting another brother or sister soon. So it's good to have two so that they get to learn about bats themselves, because right now he doesn't know what he is. He would think he's more a human than he is a bat. So if I went and I let him outside and said, go fly, what would he do? He would have no skills at all. So, and also too, he'd need to go to a colony. They fly out from the colony at night to their feeding trees, but during the day they have to be in their colonies. So he'd have nowhere to go, and that crow that we all could hear, he would be the lunch. So that's why they go to Kirsch, they learn how to be a bat, they learn how to socialize with other bats. There's a wild colony right there. It's a maternity colony where we go up in the Sunshine Coast, and they talk to each other. The wild bats come and they feed and they get to know the babies, and they're welcomed into the colony, which I think is amazing, that you could take a wild adult male and put him into a colony and he's accepted. Now, what animals do that? I think it's just amazing how bats are so welcoming. And not only that, they take on other species. You'll have black flying foxes with gray flying foxes and red flying foxes, and they're all in the same colony together. And they're all different species. So not only, could you mix some males in with different species of different males, but all different ages, and it's amazing how welcoming they are. I always am just amazed by it. because even when you get them into care and you put them into cages, once in a while, I had one, and his name was Matt. He hated everything. He hated other bats. He hated people. He was just so miserable. But 99% of the time, they're always welcoming. So it's always good to observe them, and maybe we could learn from them. Maybe be a little bit more tolerant, you know? Who knows? But anyways, someone asked about fleas. Do they have fleas? They don't so much have fleas. This hair is bothering me. They don't so much have fleas. They get called bat flies, which looks like a little spider, and it's fast and it's so hard to get rid of, and that usually is on very sick bats. So if you find a bat that is in netting, barbed wire, that's been there for a while, odds it's going to have a bat fly on it. And we call it bat flies because it's only on bats. Only on bats. Even it won't go on you, won't go on a human, but they'll be covered in them. I have pictures of a couple of my rescues that have had bat flies on them, and they don't really creep me out or anything, but that's usually a bat that isn't doing well. It's it's amazing how the bat fly knows who to go on to. So if you have a bat with bat flies, like have babies come in with bat flies, you know that's not a good sign. They can get maggots if a baby's on a dead mother. The odds, you always have to check their ears and that when they come into care, because they could easily have maggots on them. So you always make sure. You always check them in the bathroom with a little eyelash brush or eyebrow brush, and make sure that they don't have any little eggs or anything. That's usually, like I said, if they've been on a dead mother for a few days, they get that. Otherwise, they come in and they don't have anything. They're very clean. They start looking after themselves. He's washing himself already. That's why you have to watch what you put on them, because or what you use, even with cleaning or anything that could go on to them, because they wash themselves right away. They are so clever. I remember I had one that I had a table with all his wraps on it, and he would see me move the table. And he was 6 weeks old, and all of a sudden, and there's a video of it. Unfortunately, it was quite dark when I took the video. He's trying to pull the table towards him. To pull it, so because what he liked to do is knock out all the wraps onto the ground. So I had to keep moving his error because he'd reach and knock everything off. So I'd have to move him, and then he would try to reach it, and he couldn't reach it. And then he went underneath and tried to pull the table. I thought that was amazing. 6 weeks old, figuring out that. That's amazing. So they are very clever. They watch you, because to them, I am his mother. I'm basically his mother now. If you get them under 2 weeks, they really accept you as their mother. So they watch you. So they learn very quickly. And if you do something you don't want them to do, they'll do it. So they could be very clever. One of my friends sent me a video of her babies unlocking the cage and getting out of the cage they were in. So, because, if you're gone all day, you can't have bats flying around your house, or if they're too young to go into an aviary. So you want to keep them, confined to a safe area, because they can get into a lot of trouble. So the only thing else I'll cover in this one is people wonder why we know exactly how old the bats are. And I've mentioned before, we measure their wrists to their elbow, and their weight. and that will give you basically just about to the day how old your bat is. Next one, I'll show our manual that has all that information. It's not something that we just pull out of the sky. It's really, we followed it very closely, but unfortunately, it seems in the last, I'd say maybe 4 or 5 years, things that we used to always count on exactly when the babies would be born, everything like that has changed. It's really has changed because you could say, oh, September, October, all the babies start coming in, you know, by November, December, that's it. And then, the cycle goes again. No, it doesn't work that way now. Now we could have babies in January, February, March. It has changed so much. And even with weights and that, they should be this age, then they're not this age. It's just, unfortunately, not working out as closely as it used to be. And I do think the climate change, I really do. Because since we started getting a lot of the heat stress events, things seem to be changing, and nothing is, we don't count on it as much as we used to. So anyway, James is going to go into his little crib, and yes, I actually have bought him. It's a netting, and it's like a baby bassinet, and he goes, but it's with mesh, not wicker or anything, and he goes in there and he sleeps, and he's quite happy. He's a very content baby, a very good baby. And it's very hot today, so I don't have him tightly wrapped up, but he seems quite comfortable. So we'll do the overhead tonight, so you'll get to see that because he's very curious with that. And also during the day, like because mostly they sleep a lot more. I find the dusk he's more wide awake. So that's when I like to usually video him, but I thought I'd just explain why, just in case something happens and I don't get a chance to videotape. So here he is sleeping. And I know he's been so exciting in this video, but it's an angel sleeping. So have a great day, and thanks for loving the bats. Bye.